Well, hello there. I am Nikki Cameron, a holistic trauma recovery therapist of emergent counseling and consulting. I'm here to share with you some information regarding one of the most common forms of therapies that I see we often get calls for the treatment of severe anxiety and trauma, and that is EMDR. What is EMDR? EMDR stands for eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing therapy. There are some things to note about EMDR. And to help you understand the effectiveness of it, I want you to consider maybe something that creates minimal annoyance for you. Whenever it surfaces in your mind, you find yourself avoiding it because you don't want to focus on it because it tends to be quite upsetting. See if you felt anything in your body when you thought of that thing. Did you notice a tightness in your chest? Was it tension in your body? What did you notice? And if you felt nothing, that's totally okay too. Well, what EMDR therapy would do is for experiences that are so overwhelming to your nervous system, to your body, maybe the death of a loved one or a car accident, for instance, or even a bad breakup, right? And whenever you think about it, you find that you're avoiding certain aspects of it because it's too emotionally overwhelming. What EMDR would do is help you so that when you do recall those experiences, it won't be as emotionally charged. It will then leave your system desensitized to the memory itself. EMDR will not take away the memory. However, it will take away the emotional charge attached to that memory. Trauma tends to be trapped in the brainstem. And so what happens is when our bodies experience stress that is so overwhelming and it surpasses our ability to manage it and cope with it, it oftentimes leaves us feeling debilitated, and we might find ourselves avoiding it, not wanting to think about it, not wanting to talk about it. It may even cause some of us insomnia, gut issues, and I could go on and on and on. EMDR, when used with a therapist or appropriately by a therapist, can help to remove those charges or symptomatic reaction within your body or within your thoughts. Sometimes it also triggers negative beliefs associated with the event. So EMDR uses a series of bilateral stimulation. And when I say bilateral, I mean side to side, right? Wherein the left brain and the right brain has an opportunity to, once you are asked to recall that situation or the memory associated with that experience, it allows the brain to process it, but through bilateral movements, which can be via the eyes from left to right, or it can be a series of tapping on the body. And some therapists may use a clicker. Please note, though, that with EMDR therapy, the therapist will typically do a screening to ensure that the challenge that you're wanting to process using EMDR, that you are an ideal candidate for it. It might not be a good fit for you, even though it is an effective form of therapy. So it is important that you work with a therapist who is trained to administer EMDR therapy so that both of you can determine together whether this is the right treatment for you. The therapist will then work with you to develop what we call capacity or coping skills within your system so that as you're recalling the experience or the memory, that your body will be able to accommodate the stress associated with recalling the experiences. Because sometimes, believe it or not, if your system's not prepared to handle it, it can actually end up causing re-traumatization. So it is very important that the therapist you're working with can assist you to develop coping skills to tolerate the level of stress associated with recalling the situation. Then over a series of processing, as you're doing so gradually, you'll find that the memory no longer leaves you feeling activated, overwhelmed emotionally, that you're no longer having to avoid it. It will become a mere memory that is not leaving you feeling debilitated or helpless. EMDR does require afterwards that you are taking care of yourself. So these coping strategies that you are learning with the therapist, you can use them to care for you once you are no longer in the session, which is very important. Again, although EMDR is very effective and can be used to treat severe anxiety, deep-rooted trauma, and even depression and for negative core beliefs, please understand that it might not be a good fit for you. It can be used alongside with other forms of therapies, but it is important that you determine with the help of a professional whether it's a good fit for you. I hope that this information I provided to you will be helpful to you or someone else you know who may be considering the use of EMDR for healing. You are welcome to reach out to our office and schedule a session with one of our team members for a consultant. We are located in the Fort Lauderdale area, Florida. I will also be talking about another form of therapy that can be used instead of EMDR therapy that does not require as much prep work, but is just as effective: brain spotting. So hopefully the next time I tune in to share, you will be here so that you can also learn about brain spotting. Until then, though, please be kind to yourself because you deserve it. Take care.